I think the protest outside the Villa game was supported by the National Coalition that has been organizing demonstrations in London for over 32, for over 2 years, and there have been over 32 demonstrations already. Uh, so that's the context from which this was happening. Although the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have exhibited extreme racism with their chants of death to Arabs, and there are no schools in Gaza because there are no children in Gaza. Our campaign was about showing Israel the red card, which is, in a way, a different issue, and it also addresses what Kevin raises. And I think uh, not because of the support base that the team has, but because it's in violation of international law, it's in violation of the charters of the FIFA and UEFA. My question to Kevin is, why should Israel be, a, singularly separated from that? Why should Israel not have to abide by international law and by the charter? Because I think the reason why we are arguing that Israel should actually be suspended from FIFA and UEFA is because of its violations of the charters, is because they have got teams that are actually playing in occupied lands, in settlements. They are based there, so they need to remove those. And I think any federation that actually violates the charter would be suspended, as the Russian Federation was. So why should we make an special case in the case of Israel? And I think that's the point we wanted to make. And I think all this issue about uh, their their fan base is actually clouding the real issue, which is Israel should not be in the tournament whatsoever in any sport because of its violation of international law. I think the purpose for sports is to bring people together. The violence we've seen in Palestine, in Gaza, the genocide, is not bringing people together. We got to also keep in mind that many of the players who were playing for Maccabi would actually have either served or would go and serve in the IDF. They may have been from time to time being in Gaza, and they may already have been in Gaza during the genocide that is taking place there. So I think that's the context in which we were protesting. We were protesting against a team being allowed to play in Birmingham that is actually violating human rights, violating international law, violating the charters of the FIFA and UEFA. So I think that's the context of it. Uh, so, uh, so the fact was that Maccabi Tel Aviv is going to be playing in our city against all the international norms, as I've explained already. Most of the team members, as I said, would have served in the IDF. So I think there were many challenges on the way as we organized for this protest. And I think I will probably go through some of those. Uh, the National Coalition and its local counterparts were adamant that as long as an Israeli team is playing in our city, we have to register our protest against the team trying to normalize Israel's violation of international law. When it was announced that Maccabi Tel Aviv will be playing in Aston in the Villa ground, there was expectation that UEFA and FIFA would suspend Israeli Football Association from their organizations. We had already started talking to inner city communities, particularly those living in the vicinity of the ground. They were apprehensive about Maccabi's team and the fans coming to our city and creating havoc and with racist chants. They also wanted to express their opposition to the match going ahead while a genocide is being committed in Gaza. Over the last 2 years, these communities have demonstrated against the genocide and Israel war crimes on a regular basis. Many have gone to London on a regular basis as well. Then the Safety Advisory Group proposed on the intelligence from the West Midlands Police that the match be played without the Maccabi fan present because of the havoc and violence and racism they exhibited in Amsterdam, and for which they were actually banned from Amsterdam as well. So I think it's not only Birmingham that's saying that fans are not welcome, it is also Amsterdam as well. Uh, when that happened, the Prime Minister, and including our Home Secretary, representing the adjacent constituency to the Aston football ground, demanded that the ban be taken back. I think the West Midland Police and the SAG group remained adamant that the ban stays. And I think they were vindicated because just a few days later, Tel Aviv itself banned or stopped the match, the derby match from going ahead in Tel Aviv. So I think we could not, well, accuse them of being anti-Semitic in any way. Although I think we welcomed the SAG advice because it actually protected our communities, because if they had been shouting death to Arabs, that would not have been very welcome in our communities, particularly in the area where Aston is, because just next door to the Villa grounds, there's a large section of Arabs living as well as other Muslim and many other communities. So I think it would not have, created an atmosphere where, uh, which is what should be. Uh, so I think a team that is complicit in genocide cannot be allowed to play in our city was very clear. We continued organizing and mobilizing in the communities around the ground. We met in mosques. I think we organized events in community centers uh, about why and how we are protesting. I think we distributed over 20,000 flyers in the last 10 days. Posters were put in community centers, mosques, and local shops. The support we received was enormous. There was apprehension, even among the organizers and among certain quarters, that given the history of the area over several decades, and I think we've been involved in many campaigns in there in trying to protect the communities, in trying to, and people are probably aware of what's been happening in Aston, but it's not just in Aston, it's in Handsworth, in Lozells, in areas surrounding it, Ellenbrook. Uh, so over 20, so I think so there was a good national mobilization as well, and I think that added to the spirit of the evening. Uh, Finally, I would like to say that there was a huge pressure on us to cancel the protest, as some feared it could end in violence following the SAG advice. What we are hearing was that the communities understand why we have to protest, and they will be there to ensure a suitable message will be delivered. And it was. The press covered the protest, and I think probably I have seen the widest press coverage in Birmingham ever for any of our demonstrations. I think on the evening itself, there were over 16 interviews being made, and most of them were actually seen on our national media and on local media. And I think relatively speaking, they were all very positive. I know the protest was noisy, and but it was effective, and about with just 11 arrests, and none of them for anything violent. No violent incidents happened. Nobody was injured. So I think if we had capitulated and cancelled the protest, it would have been a very negative impact on the movement to stop Israel, to show Israel the red card. Now I think we are in a strong position to continue our campaign to show Israel the red card in any sport. I think if we had cancelled the protest, that would have been a very wrong message going from Birmingham, second city in UK. So let's us move forward and organize bigger and better protests every time Israeli sport team is playing in Britain.